ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य न्यारञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं गुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं वन्देऽहं गुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणा रघुनाथं मितं तं सजीवं सादयितं साधुतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललितां श्रीविशाखावितां हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Welcome to this discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. We are right now discussing chapter 6 Dhyana Yoga. In this we are in second part, which is how to move from practice to perfection. And in this we are in the shloka number 19, which is focusing on realization of Paramatma. In this we are in shloka number 19. Let us look at the shloka. यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेङ्गते स्वोपम स्मृता योगिन यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगम आत्मनः. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist, whose mind is controlled, remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendental self. Yata deepo nivatasto nengate sopama smrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogam atmanaha. The point is that the flame does not flicker when there is no wind. Deepo is a lamp. A lamp gives light, and this light is from the flame. The flame does not flicker when there is no wind. The flame here refers to consciousness. Unflickering flame here refers to undeviating consciousness. This means there is a clear goal that I am soul, I am the servitor of Krishna, I have to fix my mind on Krishna. This way, consciousness becomes well fixed. The Ashtanga yogi is still in the platform of soul. He knows that he is soul and not this body. Thus, he fixes his consciousness on Atma. Yunjato yogam atmanaha. Yunjato yogam atmanaha. That is, constantly engaged in meditation on transcendence. By yoga, he remains fixed on Atma Tattva platform. Yogino yata chittasya. Yogina of the yogi, yata, whose mind is controlled, chittasya. Yogino yata chittasya, whose mind is fixed. What causes our mind to flicker are the material desires. Here there is an analogy of wind disturbing a lamp refers to material desire disturbing the mind. There is no direct reference of material desire here. The wind analogy is combination with nispraha sarva kamebhyo. Nispraha sarva kamebhyo is there in the previous verse, a line from the previous verse, 6.18. So if I see 6.18, Nispraha sarva kamebhyo. Nispraha means devoid of desire for all kinds of material sense gratification. So there is this yatadipo, this analogy, wind analogy is combination of 6.18 and 6.19. And this confirms that core point that mind is disturbed with material desires and does not allow consciousness to get fixed on Krishna. This also means that absence of material desire, mind can be easily fixed on Krishna. In presence of material desire, mind flickers. This we can see in the eyes of a person. A person who is fixed in spiritual advancement, the eyes are fixed, whereas the eyes of a person who is full of material desires are acting like a radar looking for sense objects. Saints' eyes are always calm and alert, and they are not restless. What Srila Prabhupada achieved is remarkable. In his active life, uh, his life was always alert and is always full of promptness. He was not restless. He was fast, but with passion. Srila Prabhupada would never appear pressed for time. He was fixed in his activities and the time needed for it. This made him productive, alert, and not hasty and passionate. In general, materialists are passionate, but they are not fast. Thus, we are very busy but do not get work done. This is because our mind is restless. This results in um, not doing things correct the first time. This results in increased workload because we need to do rework multiple times to bring it to the right level or right quality. The morning program which Srila Prabhupada has given to us is a very good method to calm down our mind. This helps us to bring focus in rest of our day. That is why devotees have more time in spite of doing multiple things. Devotees are more productive. Further, we do our work. Devotees do the work with understanding that we are doing this for Krishna. Everything is in control of Krishna, and we are just as an instrument in hands of Krishna. Therefore, I have to just give my best. Rest will be taken care by Krishna. We are not so much focused on success or failure of the work that we are doing. We are just focused on doing the work. This brings calmness in our mind. This enables us to do the activity intensely, the- with clear intention and focus. Clear intention, clear attention, and focus. The devotee has now many devotees' mind. Devotee also has material desires and material desires, and we know that material desires comes with material anxieties. Therefore, a devotee tries to reduce the number of material desires. Greater the desires, greater are the anxieties. That is why in materialist life, there's lot of anxieties. This anxieties agitate us. If we keep our mind fixed, we can do much more. If our mind is free from anxiety, we can do much more. This is the whole purpose of doing our Krishna conscious sadhana. We have to understand what is required, what is unnecessary, and then utilize the time only for Krishna and leave the success or failure in the hand of Krishna. This understanding we get only when we do proper morning sadhana. Sadhana makes our consciousness nivatasto. Nivatasto means undisturbed. Place without a wind. Place without a wind means without material desires, we can become more fixed and more productive. The point Krishna is making here is fix the mind by giving up or staying away from material desires. With no material desires, if a devotee does worldly activities, activities that involve interaction with the worldly object, we will not get agitated at all. Now Krishna will give description of samadhi, how one attains perfection, what is the vision of a person who attains perfection. Let us go to the next shloka, which is shloka number 20 to 23. Yatro paramate chittam, yatro paramate chittam nirudam yoga sevaya, yatra chaivatmanam atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. शुकम् अत्यान्तिकं यत्तद् बुद्धिग्राह्यम् अतीन्द्रियं वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायं स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः यं लब्ध्वा च परं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं ततः यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचल्यते tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samnitam. The translation is, in the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness realized to transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. These are thrilling set of verses which describe samadhi in Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada is making purport for 3.5 verses. And it is a pretty long purport. Now, before we get into the details of the purport, we'll understand the shloka. So, in we have seen that samadhi has two different levels, nirodha and ekagrata. In ekagrata, we have focused our mind, and nirodha is there is no focus at all because everything is internal in nirodha stage, and that is a very interesting shloka here. Yeah. 6.20. Yatro paramate chittam nirudam yoga sevaya yatra chayo atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. This is the stage which is controlled as devotees absorbed in samadhi, the trance of love. Nirudam is the highest level of samadhi. We saw there are five states of mind control. So we'll see this. It is Muda, Shipita, Vikshipta, Ekagrata, and Nirodha. Krishna here is talking about Nirudam. The sloka number 20, which we saw, is talking about Nirudam. Yatro paramate chittam Nirudam yoga sevya. This Nirudam is referring to Nirodha, which is mind is controlled as in devotee absorbed in samadhi. Um, here the mind is full of control. Yatra chaiva atmanam. Ashyan Atmani Tushati. The activity is related to the outside world, the chittas. Chittas, external activities are stopped, thus it turns inwards, and therefore there is a tushyati, there is a happiness, there is a feeling of delight there. There are two words which are commonly used in majorly in the spiritual text. One is chit, and other one is chittaha. Chit is consciousness, the original faculty of the soul. The soul has three aspects: Sat, Chit, Ananda. Chittaha is the consciousness of a living entity rooted in material energy. Here, Chittaha, Chittam. Chittam here is Chittaha. Let us consider a person going to watch a movie. Here there are two events, one before screening of the movie and others while screening the movie. Chit is referring to the events that happen before screening. The person sees the people around him, the type of seat he is provided, the color of the interiors of the wall, and so on. Once the movie starts screening, the experience is at completely different level. He becomes engrossed in the events in the movie, emotions in the movie. Thus, the spectator's consciousness is completely focused on what is shown on the screen. That is chitta. Chit is soul's original awareness. Chittaha is soul's awareness rooted into the matter. The original soul, the original soul has nothing to do with sense enjoyment. But when it is caught in sense enjoyment, then it gets entangled. This entangled consciousness is chittaha. Yatro paramate chittam. Thus means so. Yatro paramate chitram means the activities related to the material world are stopped. Yatra. So if we see the word to word meaning of that shloka, yatra, in state of uparamate, cease chittam. So that means when the activities related to the material world are stopped, this means a man who was watching the movie now come out of that connection with the movie and has become aware of his situation and situation around him. uh, Thus there is a jolt from the somebody has jolted the person who was in the movie, and the trance state of trance was disturbed. This could be because of some significant change in the situation in the movie. In real life it could be distress, some philosophical inquiry, need for money, inquisitiveness. When there is a need for money, we get jolted in our regular activities. We get jolted from the regular activities in our life. When there is a huge pain or huge terrible situation in our life, we have to come out of we come out of the regular material activities. When we see something, when we hear something, then we see somebody suffering in the world, and then we become inquisitive. That jolts us from our regular material activities, and we meet some saintly person and listen to his talk. When we listen to his talk, we get jolted from our material position. So our regular movie uh, viewing stops because of a jolt. Our trance in trance engagement in the movie is disturbed when there is a disturbing situation. Yatra chaiva atmanam atmana. Yatra chaiva. This means Pashyan Atmani Tushati. This means that pure mind pulls out of the material entanglement and helps us to focus on devotional activities and focus on supreme personality of God. Thus, this helps us to connect with supreme personality of God. When we cease material activity and we engage, so we see that yatra, in which also certainly atmana, by pure mind, atmanam, self, realizing the position of atmani, self, tushyati, one becomes satisfied, atyantikam. So when we get engaged in activities that focus on supreme personality of Godhead, then we become very much happy. Thus, this helps us to connect with supreme personality of Godhead and disconnect from the material world. This connection with the supreme personality of Godhead brings lot of joy to soul. Yatro paramate chittam nirudam yoga sevaya yatra chayatmanam atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. Then sukam atyantikam yattat. Sukam atyantikam is unlimited happiness. This is realized by atindriyam. Buddhigraham atindriyam. There are no senses. Atindriyam means no senses. It is transcendental senses. This is this happiness is, there are no senses here. The happiness is perceived without senses. Generally, people think if we need happiness, senses are to be involved. This happiness is atyantikam, it is supreme happiness. This happiness is atindriyam, which is transcendental beyond the senses. If one is situated in this happiness, one never departs from this happiness or this stage. Veti yatra na chaivayam. Veti yatra na chaivayam stitas chalati tattvataha. So sukam atyantikam. This is a transcendental happiness, and this is beyond the senses. It's just transcendental. Then Veti yatrana chaivayam stitas chalati tatvatah. Krishna is describing the point that the transcendental happiness is very rich, very fulfilling, very deep, that one does not want anything else. If one is situated in that happiness, one never comes out of it. This happiness has specific characteristics which makes people not to give up this in any circumstances. In material field, we see that we want to achieve more and more. There is no satisfaction. But why in this happiness we do not want to achieve more? This Krishna describes in the next verse, but we need to understand the real characteristics of success. Sukham atyantikam. We get unlimited as happiness. Buddhi grahiyam. Buddhi grahiyam means by intelligence we accessible, transcendental, and we once we are sthita chalati tatvatah, we do not uh, target anything else once we get this. Now, if we take material happiness in what is life's greatest achievement? Greatest achievement should take us beyond anchoring and beyond lamenting. Now, if you see sloka number 22, 6.22, Yam labdva chaparam labam manyete nadikam tata yasmin stito na dukkena guru napi vichalyate. Yam labdva chaparam labam. That means the greatest achievement should take us beyond anchoring. Now, no more hankering. I do not want more. Yam labdva. If you see the word to word translation of this, yam labdva, that which by attainment, cha also, aparam, any other, labam, gain, manyate, considers, never adhikam, more, tataha, that. So once you achieve that, you don't want to achieve anything more. This is no more hankering. Yasmin sthite, in which sthitaha, being situated, na, never, dukkena, by miseries, guru napi, even though very difficult, vichalyat, becomes shaken. You will never, once you reach the stage, you will never feel miseries and you will never feel shaken. Prabhupada translates this as in that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized to transcendental sense, established thus. One never departs from the truth, and upon gaining, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. Now, if we understand this, there is no more anchoring. I do not want more. That is what this means. And then no more lamenting, manage through problems of life without getting disturbed. These are the two more. I do not want more as I am satisfied with what I already have. This is no more anchoring. This anchoring and lamentation are two things which always keeps us vulnerable in this material world. Uh, No matter how much we achieve, we always get the feel that we want more. The wealthiest person in the country wants to become the wealthiest person in the world. Uh, the then he wants to become the wealthiest person in the history of the world. Therefore, anchoring is infinite, which never ends. Thus, it is this anchoring which we stop once we become focused on serving Krishna. In all our life, we will have different ways to define success or achievement. Some may want to get salary in 5 digits. Some may want to get big home. Some may want to marry a beautiful woman. In material life, we want to have some goals. However, if we let these goals suck our time and effort, then we miss the most important part of our life, which is spiritual goal. So this hankering and lamenting never allows us to focus on spiritual goals. These material goals, which lead take us to minefield of anchoring and lamenting, does not help us get ourselves fixed in spiritual goal. These material goals, when achieved, are not eternal and they are not long lasting. The achievement of these goals does not enrich our life, it only leads to vacuum. In many cases, we end up having another goal, and thus the anchoring continues. If a person claims the highest mountain peak, then he feels vacuum. What else he has to do rest of his life? Therefore, there is a vacuum here for the person who achieves the biggest thing in the world. And sometimes claiming the peak of the topmost peak in the world may not be interesting for a person who wants to win a game of football. Therefore, uh, our hankering and fulfillment may not be very important for everybody else in the world. Therefore, the achievements may not be recognized, and this results in lamentation. Therefore, anchoring and lamentation does not help us to fulfill, it does not lead us to fulfillment in our life. It only leads to more and more vacuum. Therefore, in order to in order to fulfill this anchoring and overcome the lamentation, we set up another goal. But this hankering only continues. All achievements of our life will be taken away by someone or by death at the time of death. This results in lamenting. When we see that somebody else has become more successful than us, we lament. And when we see that we are going to leave this body, and whatever we have achieved is of no use because we are ourselves not going to be there, that results in lamentation. We need to be very steady uh, to come out of this anchoring, and this steadiness we can get only when we focus on devotional service to Krishna. The samadhi is very important for all of us. For devotees, the ultimate samadhi is love of Krishna. There is no more anchoring once we achieve this. This is the ultimate and perpetual satisfaction. This starts with the simple activity of hearing and chanting the holy names of the Lord. How to reach samadhi? So, Prabhupada has given us the morning sadhana where we get up early in the morning. We should get up before 4 o'clock. Prabhupada has given clear instruction that a serious devotee should get up before 4 o'clock, at least 3:50, at 3:50, and attend Mangalarti every day, eat only Krishna Prasadam, follow four regulatory principles, chant 16 rounds, and then distribute Prabhupada's books, engage in serving Krishna, serving mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This will help us get satisfaction in life. We get satisfaction by chanting the holy names, by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, serving all devotees. By doing this, we will be able to overcome hankering, we will be able to overcome lamentation, and we will remain fixed in the ultimate goal of life, which is the best goal of life, which is Krishna consciousness. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. ग्रंथराज भगवद गीता की जय. जगत गुरु शीला प्रभुपाद की जय. गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. हरि 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 हरे कृष्णा.